Okay, well, we're gonna give this another shot, guys. So I think that my audio is not lagging right now as bad as it was, but I'll wait for the people to show up in chat and let me know. Okay, I just went and listened back on YouTube to that, and I can tell that it's better. I can tell it's way better just based on um, the the bubble around my avatar, how smooth it is. Because before I could just tell that it was lagging. Mic check 1 2. I could tell that it was lagging just from that visual. I knew it was fucked up, so I like restarted my computer and my router and all that shit, and I'm not using my webcam. And I went on my Google Wi-Fi and made my laptop the priority device for the Wi-Fi. Uh, yeah, so sorry about that, y'all. I wonder if I can turn my webcam on, and I should be able to do that because, one of my patrons was nice enough to send me this webcam that I looked it up and they sell it for between $70 and $90. So, okay. Yeah. So one of my patrons was nice enough to send me this webcam. So I've been, I wouldn't feel right not using it considering I accepted it. So I think, I know the audio was good a second ago. So you guys can like let me know if it's still okay. And all right, we're good. But yeah, like I don't know what was going on before, but this shit's annoying. Anyway, okay. Just act like you didn't hear. I guess, well, you didn't hear anything I fucking said before. But okay, so I'm just gonna start over. Basically, like, me and Danny, aka like Phil Talk, we've had like, oh fuck, my charger fell. We've had like some disagreements the past couple days. Like, basically, I got pissed off because I was in David P. Neff's stream, and Danny came in, and I said that, hello, Rebecca. I didn't realize that Rebecca was a biblical name. Rebecca spelled with a K. But hope you're doing well. I was on David P. Neff's open mic, and Danny came in, and we were talking about why people think that he's not an atheist. And I said that people get that impression because I personally care about young Earth creationism being taught in public schools, and Danny doesn't, which he admitted. And later, like a few moments later, I told him, "Well, I would love for you to talk to Aaron Ra," and then he just started saying, Aaron Ra is an idiot. He's worthless. The guy is a complete moron, and all this stuff. And Aaron is somebody that I consider a friend. He was nice enough to take the time out of his extremely busy schedule. This is somebody who has 250,000 subscribers. Okay, I have about 260. So you can do the math. Like, Aaron doesn't have to come on my channel. He's clearly doing me a favor. And he also, linked one of my videos on his Facebook before that, and the video got 1,800 views in 2 days. Which is like 10 times the number of views I usually get on an upload. So, and we had a great interview. If you haven't seen that interview with Aaron on my channel, definitely go check that out. So, he's somebody that I consider a friend, and like basically a pillar of the atheist community. And it pissed me off that Danny had been insulting him. And I told Danny about this in a stream like the next day. And, he was saying that, you're getting emotional. And I was like, well, yeah, if you come in a stream that I'm on having fun, and you start insulting one of my friends, I'm going to get angry and emotional. But anyway, fast forward to like yesterday. And every time that Danny comes on Speed of Sound stream, he's the one that decides what the topic is. You know, it's whatever Danny wants to talk about, and then the whole stream revolves around him. You know, it's just Danny's talking most of the time. So we were doing an offline stream because Speed wouldn't add Danny that yesterday, and on an online stream. But when we went offline, I said, yeah, Danny should be in the offline stream, but he shouldn't be in the online stream with the big boys, which was basically like me sort of like joking or like ribbing him. But I meant what I said because I thought he should be in an offline stream because then you don't have the element of the live viewers. So I thought there would be less theatrics, you know what I mean? But it was the complete opposite. Like, Danny, in the short time I've been on YouTube, I've never had somebody be as rude to me as he was yesterday. So Danny Phil talk, like PHIL talk. And I have some clips from that stream yesterday, the offline stream. I don't know if it's unethical to play this because it was offline.
It's supposed to tell you some set of principles with regard to ecological variables. And
okay, good. Danny's here. Okay, Danny. You asked me at the end of Speed Stream if I would do a truce with you, and like I said yes, but that was pretty much just because I was like closing my browser and I didn't really have time to explain myself. But I will agree to a truce with you if you apologize to me for disrespecting me on this offline stream yesterday. Okay? Then I'd be willing to do that because you gotta be fucking kidding me. Maybe I should. Am I really? Yeah. Am I still? Am I doing the robot again? Like I was literally like just getting to what the entire point of this video is. Okay. I'd be willing to accept Danny's offer of a truce, but I think that he should apologize for the way that he was talking to me yesterday, because Danny was we were talking about natural selection, and like every single time that I said something in response to Danny, he would just like shut me down and just dismiss what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, you need to sit down. Like, blah blah. Like, trying to humiliate me in front of the other people. Well, I want to play the video. I'm going to play the video and then I'll take it off the stream. So I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to play this.
you know, typical traits.
It's just a mechanism.
It's just
Yeah,
it's
but
saying
you know,
this
you
is
don't
what
know. Look, you don't
how it
know
happens.
the argument, and you don't know what you're talking about. Just with all due respect, okay?
Fuck you, Danny.
With all due respect, you don't know what you're talking about. So just sit down for a
Okay,
second.
bro. Okay, dude.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't think
so
I would
so
agree
that's
with
what
that.
I'm
I'm
saying.
not gonna blow this whole thing. I would kind of appreciate it if you wouldn't tell Atheist Junior to sit down and that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Just like you didn't say that to Grace. If you need to, just let him talk and then continue with your discussion. I just don't like that.
Oh, you don't like it, but when he does it to me, you're just very quiet, Scott, aren't you?
When did I do that to you?
Wait, you said that I'm not allowed on the big boy stream, right? Didn't you say
Yeah,
that?
I said that.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
said
yeah,
that.
and then Scott was silent as hell when you said that. So now
I'm
he's
gonna-
piping up because
I'm
I'm just a
gonna-
little bit more caustic
Okay,
about it.
Just to let you
know,
guys, I said something completely different.
No, we're not gonna do this. We're gonna have a nice, respectable discussion. I'm sorry I missed the point that irritated you, Danny.
Yeah, and he called me like names in the chat. Did you see that?
Wait, hold on, Danny. When you told Atheist Junior to sit down 5 minutes ago, were you being facetious?
No,
said you
I
didn't
was
have-
saying.
Okay,
shut
but
up.
Atheist Junior was being facetious when he made this point.
No, he was.
Yeah,
look,
he was.
I
just wanna give you guys a
dabbing at each
really
other,
quick-
right?
I just want to give you guys a heads up really quick. I'm going to be listening to you guys. I'm going to be on mute because I got to shave and get ready and shit. So I'll be listening, but I'm going to be on mute and not contributing. for a little while. Okay, go.
Okay.
I just want to say something real quick and then I'll shut up. Natural selection, it's not something that I would call a theory. It's a mechanism of evolution. Evolution is, Darwin proposed the theory of evolution by natural selection. And natural selection is just a process where organisms who are better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more
I'm glad
offspring.
you can read from Google. Yeah, thank you. Okay,
I'm just literally giving the definition. So you can't really say that I don't know what I'm talking about if I'm giving the definition.
well,
I
you're
don't
just
see
reading
anything
off the
wrong with
definition, right? You're
So
just
what?
reading off
It's the
definition. So what? You don't
So?
understand the problem,
It's-
right? The problem what you just read is just that it's tautological or that it doesn't yield a principle of biology.
How is it
okay?
tautological?
Well, that's the thing, right? This is what the grown-ups are talking about. Now you can just listen.
Explain how.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm
explain
doing.
how it's tautological. Okay, I'll
think
I'll
there is a
listen to the
principle
grown-ups,
there.
Danny.
I
Okay,
definitely
fucking
would say
asshole.
that there is a needs to say selecting. This is why I don't like using the word selection. That it's loaded with connotations that just do not
Look,
exist in biology.
Are there cases in which the environment results in a change in allelic frequencies where those allelic frequencies go down?
What?
So you know,
Well, yeah,
Alex Rosenberg.
What if there's a toxin in the environment? Then,
Exactly.
Yeah, so the things will go
Evolution
wrong.
is just a change in the
Yeah.
frequency.
With atheist
Whether
Junior,
it
you're
goes
not-
up or down
just-
doesn't
just
matter.
Wait, are you
listen.
trying to point out that because natural selection sometimes selects for traits that don't improve the survivability of a creature? That doesn't matter.
It doesn't-
Nobody's ever claimed that
all-
it only ever does that. Natural selection just selects traits. That's it. Whether they're better for survival or not
Well,
is
I don't know what
irrelevant.
you mean by selecting.
Traits kill
All that
traits-
matters
Well,
is that
when I say
the
select,
level of
that
beneficial
if you have
mutations is
some
more
like
than 0%,
mutational
they'll get
change in a
selected for.
phenotype, or rather in a genotype, no.
I don't think that natural selection is a tautology.
Fine,
no.
I don't
fine.
either.
Well, it may not be, but if it is a tautology, is that a problem?
No.
I
I
think it
think
is.
that it would just become
Can you
I think it
explain
would
how it's a
become
tautology?
empty.
Look, you can sit down again, atheist. Junior.
Well, no, he asked you a pretty good question. Can you explain how it's a tautology?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
why
would
are you
just like
so
you to
dismissive of
explain.
people just because you don't think they understand something? That's very, very pretentious. And that's why a lot of people don't like having discussions with you, because you might not think that they understand it. You just dismiss them like they're completely irrelevant to discussion.
Yeah, I
It's
treat people that treat me poorly, I treat them poorly back.
Well,
Sorry.
that's just a terrible method of
I don't really
argumentation.
care. I
Danny,
care about the
Danny,
argument.
I
So then
apologize
you're
to
not,
you
not about
on
being a
the
serious
stream that we had.
interlocutor. then,
Yeah,
are
but
you?
then you continue to talk shit. But I'm not interested in the meta anymore.
Well, don't
right?
dish it out if you can't take it, Danny.
Look, I'm just going to continue. I'll use Dr. Dan's definition of
Can you
natural
explain
selection.
how it's a tautology, Danny?
Yeah, I'm about to do
Back
so.
up your arguments.
That Dr. Dan uses for his classes.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
at the
guys,
end of the
did you
day,
guys look at
evolution
the
has been
chat?
proven, and natural selection is a mechanism of that. So
Yeah,
if you think it's a tautology or not, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
wanted it to happen in
I'm
the
not-
Okay, so that's the end of the video. I mean, I leave it up to you, chat, whether or not you think that what he was saying is disrespectful or if it's fair what I'm asking, because I'm completely willing to accept the offer of a truce, although I'm starting to wonder why you made the offer if you're not like willing to I'm not saying that you have to correct anything. I just feel like you're being a fucking dick, and you should maybe like acknowledge that. I don't know. In the short time I've been on YouTube and done live streams, I've never had somebody be as rude to me ever as that. Like, just saying, you know what I mean? But I mean, if you aren't interested in that, then okay, then I'll say fuck your truce then, Danny. So, that's fair. Wholly unfamiliar with the topic. It's natural selection. Like, it's a very simple topic. You're telling me that I'm unfamiliar with the topic of natural selection. I'm not the one who refuses to call it a mechanism and calls it a theory. Like, it's a mechanism of evolution, but you refuse to use that word yesterday. I don't know why. Like, Darwin made like created the theory of evolution by natural selection. So again, you're just literally doing the same thing that you were doing yesterday, Danny. So like, fuck you, basically. You're telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know the topic, but and you're telling me that I didn't know the topic when I'm giving you the definition of natural selection from Google, which is the same thing of a textbook definition. Oh, you know, I'll add the StreamYard link. I always forget about that. That's my bad. Yeah, because I don't want to be talking to somebody on chat, you know, because that, I feel like that puts me at a position of advantage. But I mean, if you want a dumpster fire, I'm sure that it'll turn into one.
Hello.
Hey, Randolph. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I always forget to add the StreamYard link.
No worries.
That's my...
It's okay. Yeah, no, you're off to a good start with your channel. Actually, I was watching some of your interview of Aaron Ra, and I thought it started off very well. I do like your interviewing style. You ask questions and then you don't interrupt. You're just letting your guests talk, and it's so interesting to listen to. So thank you for that. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it.
Yeah. Hey, hold on one second, Danny. I can't add you unless you have your mic or webcam enabled. It's not letting me add you when you come backstage.
Brady. So I think I'll tell you, I had a disagreement with somebody recently. I won't say who it is. I think most people here probably don't even know the person, but I ended up blocking them on Twitter, and then afterwards we talked, and then I took the block off. I was not actually asking for an apology. I just wanted to get things sorted out and get things cleared up, what our points of view were on things, and it worked out well. We're in good terms now, and I hope the same for you and Danny.
Yeah, I agree. Oh.
Hi, Danny.
Hey, what's going on, Randall?
I'm putting up.
You got muted.
Yeah. I think there's an echo, Randolph, because it's because Randolph can't wear headphones. So sometimes it causes there to be an echo when he's on the stream because his audio comes through his channel speakers and then gets picked up. But yeah, no, I mean, you asked me like if I'm interested in a truce yesterday, and I said, or what I'm saying now is, yeah, I could totally agree to that, and I can be calm and cordial and really nice to you, but the only thing I would ask is just like, an apology for the shit that I just played, because it was pretty fucking disrespectful. And I can admit, like you were telling me on the other stream that I was getting emotional when you were talking about Aaron Ra. I'll fully admit I'm an emotionally sensitive person, and the things that you said to me hurt my feelings and upset me, Danny. So I can admit that, and that's why it pissed me off. You know what I mean? So I can admit that. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's obviously that I hurt your feelings, right? Now the question is, did I do something wrong?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't see what if you think I did something wrong, then what is it that we disagree about?
It's what people have been telling you all the time, Danny.
Yeah, but
it's what I just said. It's what I just said, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you decide that people don't understand you, you call them stupid, you call them ignorant, you call them idiots. And I've told you, it's not the people that are having the problem. It's you. You can't transmit what you want to say in a decent way. And if then people mistake things that you're saying, you will call them idiots. If you start out in a conversation where people have set definitions and then you chime in while having your own definitions and literally sound like an idiot when you're saying things, that's you. That's a you problem, not an us problem.
Yeah, I still don't understand the disagreement.
No,
Like,
you don't.
It seems like you're being a dick for just being a dick.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
for
know
the
what that
fun.
Pretty
means.
much. Pretty
I don't know
much.
what that means. If it all it means that I hurt your feelings, then yeah, I accept that. But I don't see. I think there's an open question of whether what I did should have been done.
Maybe do some self-reflection.
I don't know what that means.
No, you don't know what that means. So maybe you should learn what that means.
Okay, you
Sounds
can
like a
tell-
narcissist.
See
to
how
me.
you handle yourself when you go on a live stream, and see whether or not you're doing things that might make others feel uncomfortable. Might
yeah, I don't have a problem.
might
with any
be
of that, Peter.
insulting. No, I don't. I know you don't. So you lack empathy. You lack basic human skills.
Well, that doesn't follow.
Yeah, that does follow, because
Well,
you don't
not-
care.
no,
You
it
don't
doesn't.
care. You don't
Just
care.
because I'm okay with hurting your feelings doesn't mean that I can't understand what you're going through when I hurt your feelings. That's
no,
what
it's
we call
it's
a
the fact.
non sequitur.
It's the fact that you don't care about other people. That is that is
yeah,
the
in
problem.
some cases, like in these cases, I hurt Atheist Junior's feelings, right? I don't take the blame for that. And if I hurt other people's feelings when I call them as ignorant or idiots, I don't take the blame for that either.
No.
If anything, I'm praiseworthy for it.
Yeah, you think you're this God sent thing that is running around people's streams, and you're obviously not.
If you don't want to get your feelings hurt by me, just don't talk to me, Atheist Junior. It's very simple. Right? If you, I would recommend that you stick to topics that you're familiar with.
Yeah, a complete lack of self-awareness. That's
I don't know what that means, Peter. You're still having.
no, you don't know what that means. That's your problem.
Because you're a narcissist.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I don't know what this means either.
No, you don't know what that means. You don't know what the word narcissist means?
Not if I don't consider myself to be a narcissist, and you're telling me that I'm a narcissist.
That wasn't the question, Danny. You always answer questions that aren't asked.
Hold on. What is it that I don't know about natural selection?
You don't understand Fodor's objection to it. That's what we were discussing.
Fodor doesn't know about natural selection, and also wasn't the question that Atheist Junior asked. He asked you what he didn't know about natural selection, not what Fodor thinks natural selection is.
I literally gave one of his objections when I was talking about the peppered moth.
Okay, what is Fodor's objection then?
Why is it even a thing? What Fodor's objection is, when he just asked you, what do I not know about natural selection? He's not talking about Fodor's fake straw man natural selection. He's talking about the actual thing.
What's the straw man, Peter?
That's been pointed out to you by so many people.
You don't even know what the straw man is. So how would you know there's a straw man?
That's been pointed out to you by so many people, including myself, that I'm not going to do that again. There's several streams where people have pointed that out to you.
Okay, so you're not willing to give an answer. Let's move on.
You already have the answer. The fact that you lack a decent memory, and that's not my fault. That's a you problem.
Okay, let's just move on. What's the disagreement?
Wait, what?
AJ just asked you a question.
Who's AJ? Oh, that's it. What was your question?
I said, what is it that I don't know about natural selection?
Well, that first of all, it's even though it's allegedly a mechanism, right? It's not a mechanism, right? The Google definition is tautological and problematic. There are more sophisticated definitions.
Yeah, Danny's not much above the average young Earth creationist when he makes that claim.
I mean, you're telling me that I don't know about natural selection, and you're saying that it's not a mechanism of evolution. It sounds like you don't know about the topic.
Well, I understand people take it to be a mechanism, but what you're guilty of is not understanding.
People take it to be a mechanism. It is a well understood scientific fact.
Like
that it's
people
a
take
mechanism.
That's the whole dispute, right?
You mean Charles Darwin, the guy who discovered it? Yeah, because he takes it as a mechanism. So
yeah, but certainly you do too, right?
I think Darwin knows more about natural selection than you do. So I'm gonna go with his opinion.
Okay, look, if you don't understand the argument, I would have probably accept what Darwin had to say as well.
Okay, well, enlighten me then.
You want to talk? So you want to talk about Photo's objection to natural selection. Is that what I'm hearing? Because I can't do that.
Well, I want you to tell me what it is. If I'm ignorant of the topic, then please teach me, Danny.
Okay, so what a theory of evolution is supposed to do is articulate principles across phenotypic distributions in populations within several generations, or at least a couple generations, and ecological variables. Do you want me to say that again? So that's just to say that what a theory of evolution is supposed to do.
Yes, because I was reading the chat, and so I honestly didn't hear what you said a second ago.
That's fine. I'll repeat it. So the idea is that what a theory of evolution is supposed to do is articulate a principle or set of principles that connect ecological variables, as I say, environmental factors, with phenotypic distributions in a population across generations. That's what a theory of evolution is supposed to do. Now, the problem with natural selection is that it doesn't identify the set of phenotypes that are being distributed, which are selected for, rather than just evolutionary byproduct. There are other names for evolutionary byproduct. You can think of spandrels. You can think of free riders or ride-along traits. You can Photo uses all these terms, including just mere selection of rather than selection for. So the idea is this, right? If a theory is supposed to connect ecological variables, right, with phenotypic traits that are being distributed, right, or go into fixation, if the theory of natural selection is not able to identify those phenotypic traits that are conducive to reproduction, then the theory fails on the outset.
What I don't understand, is it Fodor that describes like natural selection as a theory? Because I've never heard this terminology. I've always heard that evolution is a scientific theory, and it's made up of mechanisms like natural selection, sexual selection, gene flow, gene drift, those type of things.
No. Those are different mechanisms, right? For gene flow, mutation, genetic drift, those are separate mechanisms from natural selection. So if you just you Googled this last time.
I agree. I agree with that.
So the idea is that natural selection is touted as a theory of evolution or a mechanism of evolution. Those are synonymous for our purposes. The idea of theories and mechanisms. Go ahead.
I'll for the purpose of the discussion, I won't like harp on the semantics of like I use the word mechanisms, but you know, I'll grant you, but I mean it's confusing to me because it's called the theory of evolution. So when you're calling the mechanisms of it also a theory, to me like it's like a theory that's driving a theory. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, you know what? I partially agree with you. I think that none of evolution is a theory so much as a natural historical analysis of organisms, right? I don't think that can be theorized.
It's a scientific theory is an explanation that's made up of a body of facts.
Not simply. No, I don't think that's not what I take a theory to be. I take a theory or law, even mechanism, to be basically a system of propositions that ground counterfactuals with respect to what happens causally. So very simple, right? What I said was not simple. I have to give an example to make it simple.
It seems like you're overcomplicating it.
Well, just because you don't.
You're not thinking scientific theory. You're thinking theory in a different.
No, I'm thinking of scientific theory. So
scientific theory, as I understand it, is the earlier thing you said about a multitude of facts brought together to explain something, like theory of evolution that way. So
the problem is that
it's quite different from my understanding as well.
Well, the problem with that definition is that suddenly we have theories in history, but which we don't, right? If we give it, like for instance, we could theorize about whether Jesus existed or not, given certain historical context.
We can't. No. In this context, we can't.
Are you gonna interrupt me?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We can't, in this context, we can't have a scientific theory about whether or not Jesus existed because there's no evidence.
Yeah, it sounds like
you see stuff like that. That's just stupid, Peter. You should sit down and keep your mouth shut.
See, that's really disrespectful. That's exactly what they were talking about.
I don't care, right? If y'all want to have the conversation on the basis of me calling people names, then just leave.
So, Danny, don't interrupt me now, okay? Because I was in the middle of talking. Okay. All right. So when you call somebody stupid, it's basically just a personal attack, right? It's got no impact on the argument they are making whatsaever. It's
disputing that either.
On them. So you're just fine doing personal attacks on people?
Yes, I am. Yes. So what are you going to do about
Then
it?
you're
Kick me out?
Then you're
Kick
an
me out?
absolute loser. That's what I
And
think.
just go away if you don't want. Why would you want to talk to a loser?
You go away.
Why would you want to talk to a loser? So sit down and shut up. Okay.
Because
Let me
I
talk about those that are interested.
I don't actually want to talk.
Those
Danny,
that are interested in the
Danny,
argument, I'll talk about the argument.
Danny, is it possible for you to not tell people to shut up on a channel that you do not own?
No, it's not logically
because
impossible.
it's not. This is not the place where you can tell people to shut up.
Well, I just did. So what are you going to do about it, Peter? Kick me out? Mute me? What are you going to do? Nothing.
That's up.
Well,
that's up to
Who's
AJ.
interested in natural selection? Anybody here?
That's up to Atheist Junior.
Danny,
I'm not talking about it with somebody like you.
Well, then
Serious.
just go away. Go away.
No, you go away. This is.
Oh, I can go
it's
away.
not up to you.
That's fine. Y'all can kick me out, right? I'm not the owner of this channel, right?
No.
I was sent a link to talk about the conflict between Atheist Junior and I, and if no one wants to discuss natural selection or the conflict between Atheist Junior and I, then y'all can just kick me.
Danny, we were hold on, guys.
Right, yep,
Danny,
sure.
we were talking about that, and then you started calling somebody stupid and telling him to sit down, and then everything went dumpster fire.
Yeah,
so
just get over it and let's continue.
But you're intentionally being confrontational, and that's
Yes,
derailing the stream.
I don't care. Do you want to get back on the rail, or do you want to continue to talk about my name?
You're the one. You're the one derailing the stream, though.
I'm willing to move on. Who's willing to move on? Anybody?
No, your intention is
See,
to
y'all
do
don't want to move back on the railroad tracks, right?
Your
Let's talk about
intention
natural
is
selection.
to make this about personal insults, personal attacks, ad hominems.
That's
because
not
you
mutually exclusive with wanting to talk about the argument. That's stupid too.
See, but we can't have a fruitful discussion that moves forward when we keep having these speed bumps.
Look, when Peter
where
says
you're
dumb stuff, I'm
intentionally
sorry.
insulting people.
Peter says
But,
dumb stuff
okay.
all the time, right? And I'm
Okay,
just gonna call it out.
yeah. Okay, this is what I wanted to say.
Peter says stuff that Danny doesn't understand, and
Yeah.
that by definition makes it dumb.
Is anybody interested in the argument, or we want to move on, or still talk about the fact that I call people names? Who wants to? What do you want to talk about?
Danny,
I'm trying to say about the argument, but I'm getting interrupted. It sounds to me like what you're saying about theories reminds me of the misinterpretation that creationists get when they talk about a theory, as in the colloquial definition of like, I have a theory about which team will win the Super Bowl, and a scientific theory, which is a very different definition. And it sounds like
I agree with you.
But you were talking a second ago. You were saying historic theories about if Jesus existed or not.
Well, I was trying to get to it, and then I was interrupted by Peter. Look, let me finish my point. Don't interrupt me. I'm not speaking.
I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk, and I'll let you finish.
So let me start with agreeing with you. The Jesus example was to demonstrate that that's not the theory. We don't want to characterize our theory of what explains the resurrection or whether Jesus existed. We don't want to say that's a scientific theory, right? We don't want to say scientific theories have a kind of a uplifted status from what we do in history, right? Our theories about history, our theories of psychology, that's not the same use of the word theory as the one we use it in science. I agree with you.
There are no theories of history. There are no theories of history.
Right. I agree with you. I agree. There are no theories of history. So when we say something like my theory about Christ and whether he existed or not, my theory of resurrection, that's an equivocation. Okay? I'm pointing out the reason, one of the ways we can differentiate between that colloquial use of theory and the scientific notion of theory is understanding counterfactuals. Okay? So I'll just give you a brief example of a counterfactual, right? The idea is that if I tripped and there was a rock, I tripped over a rock, the rock explains why I tripped, right? And the notion of explanation, what it's doing there, the concept of explanation is that it's contrastive. If the rock was not there, I would have not tripped. And that's what theories do, right? They ground counterfactuals, right? So in the case of natural selection, right, they're supposed to understand these counterfactuals, right? That's to say that if we had a particular trait, I have a trait of a heart that pumps blood, right? That's selected for. If I didn't have that trait, the phenotypic distribution, I just wouldn't exist, right? So if we're going to have a theory about hearts, right, we might want to understand it counterfactually. That's to say, if these properties of the heart didn't exist, then you would have a different state of affairs, right? So that's what a theory does essentially in science, right? It's contrastive, it grounds counterfactuals. Natural selection can't ground any counterfactuals, okay? The reason why is because whether the trait moves to fixation or whether it goes to extinction, right? The idea of fixation or extinction is consistent with the theory, right? That's to say there's no counterfactual that will falsify or the theory. That's what I take to be the central problem of natural selection.
But natural selection is not a scientific theory.
Well, that's what I want to dispute, right? If you don't take it, what is it? If it's not a scientific, okay, I just take the difference. There's a lot of controversy about the difference between theories and mechanisms.
No, it's a mechanism. It's a mechanism of.
Just let me finish, right? You don't know what you're talking about. Just let me finish, okay?
Yeah, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I'm about to show you that I do.
That you're just
let me know when I can finish, and I can educate you, little boy.
You've talked and talked and talked and talked. You are such a
Danny,
rude.
you can go, and then Mark, you'll go. Let's not overtalk each other, guys.
Okay, a mechanism tends to be a physical thing. Like, for instance, insulin is a mechanism for sugar regulation, right? Now, insulin is not itself a theory. Why does it not make sense to say insulin is a theory nor a law? It's because laws and theories are understood propositionally. That's to say, for maybe the layman, sentences, right? Laws can be understood in terms of sentences or propositions. But mechanisms, they're things in the world, like insulin is a mechanism for blood sugar regulation, right? What's another mechanism we might think of? DNA is a mechanism for protein synthesis, okay? The idea is that mechanisms I take are to be things in the world that itself engages or explains causally, whereas theories and laws engage with the world in a way where it's non-causal, right? It's not like the theory itself propositionally explains in a causal way, explains in a non-causal way. That's what I take to. Now, this is not established, right? There is a lot of disagreement amongst philosophers of science between what a theory, law, and mechanism are, and I'm willing to hear you out, right? But I'm saying that it's not as simple as saying a mechanism is a theory and a theory is a mechanism. I take mechanisms to be physical things in the world, theories and laws to be understood propositionally, and to explain non-causally.
That's where you're wrong.
Okay, now, tends to be, the first thing you said is tends to be. Okay, so that doesn't say it is, you said tends to be, which is a big gap in your entire argument.
I just mean is there.
Hey, you're going to interrupt me? Or
yes, I'm going to interrupt you. Yes, I just mean is there.
Oh, wow, you are such a little man. Wow.
You're going to talk about the meta, or are you just going to respond to what I said?
Mark, go.
Yeah,
Mark.
mute him. Mute that arsehole. Tends to be isn't is. So you've left a wide gap in there where it's
I just mean is by that, okay?
No, tends to be doesn't mean is.
I'm telling you what I meant with my words. I can't be wrong about how I'm using my terms.
Well, you said tends to be.
You can be wrong.
I didn't. I'm not disputing that I said I tend to be. I'm saying what I meant.
You misspoke then.
Be a charitable. Be a charitable at least, right?
I
think being uncharitable is far worse than calling
charitable. Did you misspeak?
Yeah, you could say that.
You misspoke. Okay, that's fine. You misspoke.
I meant is.
That's
right.
fine.
I meant is.
You meant is. Okay, misspoke. Okay, so you're saying insulin is a mechanism for
Blood
okay,
sugar
so it's a
regulation.
thing itself. Yep, sure. And theories and laws are non-causal. Mechanisms are causal. Is that right?
Right, but they both explain.
Right. So natural selection is causal.
No,
natural selection. Yes, it is. It's causal.
It is.
Well, how do you respond to Photo's argument?
I'm not aware
of that.
man.
It's a straw man.
You see, you're entering a converation that you have no clue what it's about. It's
Literally,
about Photo's objection.
literally everyone
and
who
you're just spilling
understands
word
evolution
salad and
says
crap, to be
Fodor's
honest.
argument
Is there
a
something
straw
that
man
I've
argument.
said that you don't understand? I can elucidate for you. Do you understand Photo's objection? That's what this conversation is about. You entered late.
Okay, what's the objection then?
The objection is that if it's the case that theories of evolution are supposed to articulate a principle or a set of principles
We're
between
not talking about theories of evolution. We're talking about mechanisms and natural selection, which is I have stated is a mechanism of the theory of natural.
I take your rejecting my distinction between mechanism and theory. Then.
Well, Danny, I know that you want to talk about Fodor, but I would rather sort of back up, and I want us to talk about the definitions of the words we're using right now, because we can't even get to Fodor's argument if we don't agree on some definitions. So, the definition of scientific theory I gave earlier was the definition from the National Center for Science Education, and their definition is because they have an article that explains the definition between fact, hypothesis, law, and theory. And they say a theory in science, a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world that can incorporate facts, laws, inferences, and tested hypotheses.
I have my headphones in. I'm getting some paper so I can write some of what you're doing, so I don't forget what you're saying.
Well, I can paste the link in the chat if that's easier, because this is a good article. And Mark, you can go if you. I don't know if you.
Yeah, no, I just came in to talk about, well, I mean, it was the apology video. It seemed quite grainy, and I only caught most of it. But I watched it before, and I thought that's what we were talking about. But yeah, apparently this has come onto a child in the conversation, throwing out insults and
I'm not interested in the meta. Sorry. Well, let's move on.
Yeah, I'm really not interested in your attitude at all. You are really
you're just I'm not interested.
Offensive.
Sorry, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't care what you're saying. Why are you
You do. You look at you're getting emotional.
Yeah, you're being an absolute
Oh,
asshole.
you're a little crying baby. Okay,
I'm
thank
not
you for
just
shutting
a
up. Let's move on.
little-
Yeah,
little-
so the problem-
share my screen.
The problem, Atheist Junior, with that definition of theory is that it applies to historical analysis, so we don't want to say that. All right. So let me make sure I understand you, Atheist Junior. Are you saying that what a theory is just simply a body of facts? But I don't think you want to say that. You want to say it's a particular body of facts, but I want to know those properties that distinguish the body.
It's
were
not.
You wanting to say something?
Well, no, you can go ahead.
No. I don't mind being interrupted for good reasons. If we're talking about the meta conversation, that's boring. Okay, but if you want to correct me,
well, I'm just trying to clarify what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily trying to correct you, but
please clarify. I want to get your
a theory, like it's made up of facts. It's not just made up of facts, but it's like this definition said, and this is the National Center for Science Education, which I think is one of their goals is to present evolution in a way that's very simple and easy to understand. And when I listen to you talk about these topics, it reminds me of Darth Dawkins, because the terminology you're using seems like it's overcomplicated.
Look, I'm not interested in the meta. Let's just work with this. Let's just work with what you have here. Okay. Does this? I haven't really read through what's in front of me. Does this tell me?
This is Peter's screen. I'm putting the link in
the
side chat, but I got
okay.
I'm gonna put the link.
Chat?
Hold on, I'm typing the URL real quick. I don't know what this is. Peter just told me to share his screen, so Peter, you can explain what this is.
Titan put this link in the side chat, and he said Danny should read the abstract.
Well, I don't know what that means. Why do I have a reason?
No,
to
you
read it?
you don't. You don't know. You know what reading an abstract means.
I don't know what should means.
Let's just
know what reading an abstract means.
They're suggesting that you read it.
Let's just revel in that. You don't know what reading.
He wants
an
me to read it. Okay.
You're criticizing something, and you do not know what reading an abstract.
You know
I haven't even read it. I haven't even criticized it.
You know what an abstract is?
Yes, I do know what an abstract is.
You know what reading is?
Okay.
Yes, I know what reading is, but I don't know what it means to say that I should read the abstract.
So you're trying to inject philosophy again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What?
This
dumb little boy. Wow.
And this is why people call you stupid. Because
yeah, I'm not. I don't care about the meta.
Means.
Sorry, I just don't care. Let's move on.
What is the?
I'm interested in. Don't really care what
you're not interested in reading the evidence why you're wrong.
Don't care.
You're not interested in reading why you are wrong.
Don't care. Atheist Junior, I want to know what you mean by theory.
You're a tiny little narcissist that needs to be right. That's why you can't.
I bet he does. What's an abstract? What's an abstract? What is an abstract?
Okay, are we moving on? Atheist Junior,
what is an abstract? You going to answer my question, or are you just going to?
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to dodge the question.
He doesn't know what an abstract is. He has no idea.
He doesn't.
Okay,
he doesn't know what an abstract is. Holy crap!
He's already said on Pete's stream that he has no clue about the
God
of evolution. He has no clue what he's talking about, yet he objects to it.
Peter,
Peter,
can you screen share the link I put in the private chat?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to know what Atheist Junior means by theory. That's all I'm interested in.
He's going to put it on the screen right now.
Okay.
Call people stupid and you don't know what an abstract is. That's incredible.
Why would you think that?
Well, in fairness,
just because I didn't. Are you so stupid to think that I didn't respond to you, that I didn't know what it meant? That's how stupid you are.
You have to define it that you don't know what it is.
Just because I asked you the question you don't answer doesn't mean you don't know the answer to the question, dumbass.
I don't think Danny was saying that he didn't know what an abstract was. I think he was saying,
then
I
why
don't know
not
what
define
that
it?
means when you're saying that it says I should read this abstract. Like, that's what he said. Like, I don't know what it means.
Even
saying he
define
should.
what an
Not that I don't
abstract
know what
is.
abstract means.
Yeah,
he's probably Googling it right now.
Yeah, I'm not. But the point is that Atheist Junior knows what I meant. You did not, and that just points for him. Minus, just it comes off as really stupid that
you're an idiot, Danny. You're an absolute moronic idiot.
I don't really care.
I've seen
Mark. I don't think.
Atheist Junior, don't defend me. It's okay. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Don't. Look, I just want to know what you mean
I don't think we should criticize Danny for insulting people and then also be insulting him.
It doesn't matter.
But if he insults people, then it's the same
okay. It doesn't matter.
People get to insult him back. I don't insult anybody that doesn't insult me first. So when he starts insulting,
let's just move on.
I have a fair reign to call him an idiot.
This is boring. This is boring.
AJ, just letting you know that the link you put in there, it doesn't work. It says page not found.
Really? Okay, hold on.
I
got one to Oxford for the biological journal of Linnaean.
Hold on. I'll fix the URL. I think I spelled something wrong. Because I wasn't copying and pasting it. I was just typing it out.
Yeah, I saw it. Definitions.
Yeah, I went to public school in Texas, so you'll have to
Are we pulling up maybe a rendition of a theory? Is that what we're waiting on?
Yeah, I fucked up the URL.
Well, I mean, it's Patrick Matthews' Law of Natural Selection by Michael A. Wheel. You can look
Google,
it up.
Like NCSE and like just scientific theory, and it'll be like the first link.
I can give you the digital object identifier if you want to look it up on like whatever research site you use.
I think I got it, AJ.
Okay. I'm not sure why there's like an echo. I'm hearing my own voice.
I've got this link. I put it in the main chat. Does that one work?
You wanted to see the definitions of fact, theory, and law in scientific work?
That NCSE page.
Yeah, okay. Share my screen. I have it pulled up.
Okay. So this is what you understand to be what these terms mean, right, Atheist Junior?
Yeah, I think this article does a really good job at giving distinct definitions and sort of separating the different terms, because it's one of the most commonly equivocated terms is the colloquial definition of theory. Like, I have a theory about, a video game, or I have a theory about like what's going to happen to my job, versus a scientific theory, which is a very different definition. It's like the term creationists always talk about, like, you can't observe something, you can't observe evolution, but in the scientific definition of observation, all that is any data that's gathered from an experiment. So when it comes to scientific definitions of words, a lot of times they're very different from like the colloquial usage. So that's why
looking at these definitions. These are workable definitions. There's nothing that disagreeable here. The thing I would add that these definitions don't have, especially with respect to laws and theories, is they generate predictions, right? The idea is that what you understand the law to be is a set of propositions or a proposition, and you derive its meaning, and then that gives your predictions in terms of what you should see given certain conditions. Now, I'm saying natural selection fails with respect to this, especially considering the goal that what a theory of evolution is supposed to do is articulate uniformity or
what do you mean a theory of evolution? There's only one theory of evolution.
I'm saying that I'm not saying that.
Do you mean what a theory is supposed to do?
I'm not saying the theory of evolution. I'm saying a theory of evolution. So for any given theory that it's that
is only one.
That's not the point. You're not getting my point. I'm saying
there is no a theory.
What a theory is supposed to do? Just a
y'all
theory.
are misunderstanding me. Y'all are misunderstanding me. Let me explain. I'm saying that for any given theory in evolution, you would expect to see these hallmarks, right?
There is no any given theory in evolution.
Look, Peter, you might be a little too.
That's where you go wrong.
You should not step in conversations that you're not
you
equipped to handle.
Interrupt people who are trying to educate you and who are correct.
You do understand that the theory is a model that does change over time.
Does it generate predictions?
At any given point, there's only one given model.
Does it generate predictions?
It does generate predictions.
Okay, it does generate predictions. Now, if the idea of theories or mechanisms or what have you behind evolution is that they generate the sort of predictions that articulate uniformity between ecological variables and phenotypic distributions across populations.
Dumb this down a little bit, Danny?
Yeah,
literally, it doesn't only generate predictions. We got several vegetables based on.
Peter, you should just learn not to participate when you shouldn't participate.
Danny, stop interrupting.
It's not. I mean, I'm not even listening to him. Right? It's not worth listening to. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Based on artificially using.
I'm not listening to you, Peter. You don't offer anything.
That's how we got several vegetables.
You don't offer anything to the conversation, Peter. Sorry.
So,
okay.
I mean, you're just being extremely stupid when you say that you don't know any of this.
Very insightful, Peter. Okay, now moving on.
Yes,
the idea is this, right?
Yes.
What?
Well, let's talk over you like the same way you talk over me, because I tend
Darth Dawkins, really.
I tend to mirror behavior, so the moment Danny talks, I'll start talking as well, because.
So you're not going to let me talk?
No, because you're not letting me talk.
Okay, let me know when I can talk.
Why should I let you talk?
Why should anyone let you talk? You're not letting anybody else talk.
Well,
you're not listening to anybody else. Why should anybody listen to you if you're not going to?
Peter can let me know when I can talk.
No, you can't.
Okay, well,
you can't until you let anyone else talk.
Shut up, Peter. Shut up, everyone. Okay. Another thing that this article does that's important is it shows the hierarchy of these things. Okay, so theory is at the top. Okay, and it goes down rung by rung. Okay, so at the lowest layer you have facts. Okay, and you use facts or data, observations about the natural world to build a hypothesis. Okay, and then that's where the predictions come in. And if it's not falsified, if your hypothesis is effectively proven, because nothing's ever actually proven full stop in science, it can graduate to a law. Okay, so all of these things, they make up a theory, So that's the other thing that I wanted to say about this article, because that's another thing that creationists get wrong, is the order of these things, saying that we're teaching evolution as a theory, but it's only a theory. It's not a fact. But a fact is actually lower in importance to a theory. Go ahead.
AJ, I have to make a small correction, because a hypothesis doesn't graduate to a law. It graduates to a theory. The laws are repeated things that are being observed by testing the hypothesis. So the hypothesis becomes a theory when it's substantiated. It doesn't become a law.
Yeah,
I don't know if you misspoke, but yeah.
Well, that's what Peter's talking about is what they sometimes teach in high school. The idea is that there's theories are more primitive than laws, and they graduate. And I think that's
not something that they sometimes teach in high school. That is a scientific fact.
I'm saying, wait, it's not true that there's a consensus that theories become laws. That's not consensus.
No one said that.
No.
I'm just saying that there's a problem with suggesting that.
No one said that.
Nobody
No one said
that.
what?
That theories become laws. No one said that.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I misunderstood. The point is that we want to
It's
differentiate.
a recurring problem with you not being able to listen.
I'm
to
not
other
interested
people.
in the meta. I'm
I
just
think I
interested in
said
the
the
theory
reverse
is the
of that, but I was
highest.
mistaken.
The theory is the highest certainty, scientific certainty we have for any collection of facts. It's a model
Yeah,
to
that
describe
was
it.
the only point. That was like the point I was just trying to make. Is that this article, it shows the hierarchy of these things. Also, I wanted us to like, if we can, like, I'm sure we won't agree on it, but I wanted to talk about what the definition of the word mechanism is, because I think that this is like really critical to this whole like thing.
Yeah, I do you want to talk about it now, or did you have something to present?
Well, it's
Because
not on this article, but
I just took them to be like things in the world. Like you don't look, you don't find.
Then he thinks they're substantial things, which
Right.
isn't the case. That it's not a material. A mechanism is not a material thing.
Well, then I don't know how it would be different from a theory.
Well, I'll read a definition.
A theory
from
is the explanation of the mechanism.
Mechanisms are inherently explanatory.
The theory is the explanation.
Look, why
of
does
the
Peter
mechanism.
talk about things that he has no clue? Like, look,
You
that sounds
said
silly.
it was causal. Your main thing, and I wrote it down for mechanisms. They are causal, and then went on to say that natural selection is not causal, which is strange because natural selection is one of the causes behind evolution.
But that's what I'm rejecting.
Okay,
That's what I'm
let
rejecting.
me read
Well,
this definition.
you can
real quick,
reject
guys.
it all
Let me
you
read this
want.
real
You're
quick.
in complete.
But do you have a response to Photo's argument, Mark?
Are you going to explain the argument or just?
Yeah, I did. Right. The idea is that when you understand what a mechanism or theory, as you would have it, is supposed to do in an evolutionary picture, is supposed to articulate a principle between ecological variables and phenotypic traits in their distribution in a population.
I'm really curious, Danny. Can you steelman AJ's thing with the peppered moth? Can you steelman what did he say? What
he
does
said
that mean?
something. I just want to address what he said for a second, because you're saying when you understand the definitions of these words, and as we've established, you're getting the definitions wrong.
Well,
what is it that
I've been trying to read this definition, but I'm just going to read this. It says, in the science of biology, a mechanism is a system of causally interacting parts and processes that produce one or more effects.
Yeah, so that's in line with my definition, right? Because the idea of parts
phenomena by describing mechanisms that could produce their phenomena.
Yeah, that's what, and that's exactly why I think mechanisms. Because look in that definition that you just heard. You heard the word parts. Parts are material, which means that when you're talking about mechanisms, you're talking about the material world. But in the case of laws and theories, you're talking about propositions and the predictions that come from them.
Parts material.
A part. Well, the idea is that part.
If let's say I say part of a sentence, what's the material part?
Well, I think that's an equivocation on sentence, but you could consider the ink on the page as being part of the sentence.
I'm still curious. I'd love to hear you tell what the peppered moth experiment was and how it determined that natural selection is in fact a thing.
Yeah, but the idea there, Atheist Junior, is that a process implies material things, right? The idea is that if they're like, think the insulin example. Insulin is a mechanism for sugar regulation, right? And it goes through a process in which it controls your blood sugar, right? The idea of a process. The idea is that there's no process if there's no material thing that's going through a process.
AJ, let him steelman your peppered moth example.
I don't remember the peppered moth example.
Let him explain what you meant when you brought up the peppered moth. How is the peppered moth an example of natural selection? Let Danny explain, because he rejected it, so he knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I know he's not going to be able to remember that.
He's not. He's not going to be able. He doesn't even know what you're talking about. That's what I'm trying to point out. He has no clue what you mean when you say, "Have you heard of the peppered moth example?" Because he doesn't know what the peppered moth example is.
It's not just the example. It's the example in response to. I'm gonna repeat what I said about this because I think it'll be more productive that way.
No,
Okay,
no. Don't repeat it.
Okay.
Danny rejected it, so he knows what he's talking about in order to reject it. So let him tell us what the peppered moth experiment.
Frankly, I don't
was.
remember. So if you want to pull up the clip,
I know what it is. And I
Why
wasn't
did
even
you
here for
reject
it.
it if you don't remember it?
Well, I don't know the context.
It was also about
You
photoresponsive.
rejected it. You rejected it
Absolute
as an
arrogance.
example of natural selection. So
I don't
what
remember
was-
saying that.
what- Yes, you did.
Well,
on
just pull up the
speed
clip
stream.
and we'll listen to it.
It was on speed stream, and I'm not going
Sure.
to pull up all kinds
Okay,
of clips.
well then I don't remember
because
it.
you said it, you should be able to remember it, right?
Yeah, I think that I don't accept any of the, I don't reject any of the empirical facts surrounding the peppered mouth example.
Math. Did you just say
Peppered
math?
Moth, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So so tell me what is that whole thing around the peppered moth? What was the
last time I
experiment?
looked into it, and I actually read that apparently it's a kind of a fabricated example, but let's just bracket that. That
According
was
to
a while.
creationists, it is. So this is
Okay, I don't know
again, that you've looked into it on creationist websites. That's a good source
sure.
for you.
I could be wrong
Right
about
there.
that, but I'm just saying that I don't know a lot about it, and the little that I do know about it was something like this: that during the Industrial Revolution, there was a lot of what do you call it, like soot and
Pollution.
exhaust pollution, and it darkened areas. And what you had was that certain organisms have traits that allowed them to camouflage in the environment, such that there was a particular what do you call it, different reproductive success with respect to those the moths that were more darker than the ones that were lighter. So you had
It's called a different color form.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what was the cause that made the difference in color prevalent?
well the environment, the idea, the soot and the pollution.
No.
Well, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what would the
So
mechanism
the
be
peppered
that
moth,
caused
the peppered moth
change colour?
started out being perfectly camouflaged on trees. Then the trees got darker, and you got darker peppered moth.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, why did at some point over time did the darker peppered moth outnumber the other ones?
Because
Why
they
was that?
camouflage with their environment because of the pollution.
And what happened because of their camouflage?
Well, that people or predators couldn't see them. The idea of camouflage is that you're hiding from your predators, right?
Okay, so the predators picked off the lighter ones, right?
Sure.
That happened.
I meant
That
color
happened.
more.
That happened in nature, right?
Well, as opposed to what?
Just curious
In the
because
laboratory.
we're talking about natural.
Oh, yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen in a laboratory.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
it was natural selection.
Natural environment.
That the lighter ones got picked off by the predators because they could see
Yeah,
them.
there were no intentional explanations invoked.
Explanations?
It was
Yeah, no-
natural, is basically what you're saying. You're saying
Yeah.
yes to Peter.
There were
in
no
the most
intentional explanations.
obtuse way possible. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
incidental, I guess.
Yeah, with no intentional
think-
explanations.
Well, I think his description of the
So why isn't that natural
really
selection?
accurate.
Yeah,
Well,
why
that's not
isn't
that's not what that's not even what natural selection is purported to be.
that is
Is-
Are
what
you
natural
kidding?
That is literally what natural
That
selection
is
it's
literally
selection
natural
with-
selection.
Well, that's
It's
just
like
literally
you
wrong.
live
You
and
still
die.
hung up. You still hung up on Fodor's straw man. Of
Well,
natural
do you want me to
selection,
give
which
my argument,
isn't-
Mark, or are you just going to laugh?
Which isn't natural
I'm gonna
selection.
laugh for a while. Excuse me.
Okay, well then, to the others that are not laughing, let me explain why. That example is not identical to natural selection.
It is literally
It is-
one of the key.
No, that's like saying a
key
dog.
examples
Look,
for
It
natural
that's like
selection.
saying that's like saying a dog is identical to
It's taught
Clifford.
as an example. In
That,
textbooks.
yeah, exactly. They want to say it's an example, but it's not identical
It
to
is.
natural selection.
It is.
It's not identical.
Wait, do you think
it's an
Clifford is
example
identical?
of.
Excuse
It's
me.
an
Do you think
example of. It's
do you
not.
think-
It's not the only way of natural selection. It is an example of natural selection. There are multiple natural selections, different natural selections. There are
Wait.
also natural selections based
In
on
that
an
story-
environment completely
Look,
changing.
in that story, the explanatory mechanism in that
It's not
story
a
was the
story.
pollution. Was the
It's not
pollution?
a story.
But you
No,
you
the
can have-
mechanism
you can have
was
the
natural
same- you-
selection.
you can have
No,
the
it was
same thing
pollution.
happen.
No,
You
it was
can have the same thing
natural
happen without
selection.
I don't know what that
pollution.
means then,
Just-
Mark.
With just
Okay.
two colors of beetles, where you have a brown or like a red beetle and a green beetle, the green ones that blend into the grass are more likely to survive. So
Mhm.
even without the pollution coming in, because before the pollution
Right.
came in, they had the dark and light color morphs of the moth. So they were already there. But when the pollution came in, all of a sudden the dark ones started surviving more. So they
Mhm.
were selected for. And but you can have the same example without something coming in like pollution with just green grass. And natural selection is how we get animals like the leaf katydid, who looks almost exactly like a leaf. Like I can understand why creationists think that an animal like that, well, God must have created it, because I mean, look at it. But that's when natural selection happens for that long, for millions and millions of years, you get animals that are that well camouflaged, because that's how the mechanism works.
So the cause may have been, like the original cause may have been a change in industrialization and the soot from factories turning the trunks of
That's what I
the
take to be the
trees
explanation.
black. Now, what the actual mechanism for the evolutionary change is natural selection.
But it
Natural
can't-
selection just refers to when traits are no longer desirable in the natural environment. At this point, that forest with the trees turning black is
That's
still
not what
the
natural selection is
natural
purported to be.
environment. Now, when that trait is no longer desirable, it's basically weeded out.
That's
And
called a
that is
tautology.
the process of
That's
natural
tautology.
selection.
You just uttered a tautology.
Not a tautology.
Yeah, Mark, you have to know that when Danny says this is a tautology, he doesn't mean tautology as in the colloquial sense. He's got his own definition for that as well. So
No, I don't.
and he likes to throw that out.
Mark, what do you take?
How is this tautology? Me saying that the mechanism is natural selection because the thing that causes that enables the evolutionary change to happen is not by itself the trees turning black. That's the cause for natural selection taking place. It is the natural selection is the mechanism that has caused these moths to be killed who have Western white.
Why is it that the mechanism is not the pollution?
Because it doesn't
because
the
we already had
mechanism.
we already had the two color morphs before the pollution. We had light and dark moths before.
Right.
The
Sure.
pollution didn't create the dark color
Right.
morphs. They already
mechanism-
they already
the
existed.
mechanism-
And when the pollution went away,
You're just pushing the can down the road. The
you
point is that
reverse
No, you're pushing the can down the road because you're going to an earlier cause, not the mechanism that actually allowed it to happen.
Yeah,
Okay,
guys,
do
we have to dumb
I don't
it
know what
down
you mean
for
by
Danny
mechanism.
because he won't
I
understand.
wanted
So
to ask a slightly
the
different
mechanism.
question.
No, wait, AJ, wait, hold on. We have to dumb
Okay.
it down for Danny because he doesn't understand. The mechanism is the birds picking off the lighter colored moths. That is the mechanism that changes the species.
That seems
And
reasonable to me.
That is the mechanism. That
seems very reasonable to me.
That is the natural selection of
No,
the birds.
that's not
that
That's
make it-
where I lose you.
That's the
No,
natural.
yes, it is.
That's the natural selection of the birds being able to see the
And it's
moths
also
that
the
can't
allele
camouflage.
I want
light
to ask
or
a
dark.
slightly different but related question to Danny. Do you know what the full title of Darwin's book is?
The origin of species. I forgot.
I'm not trying to do a gotcha, but okay.
I don't
It's on
know. No.
It's on the origin of species. My point was that it mentions favored races. Okay. And when Darwin says favored races, what that means is literally just species that have survived and not gone extinct. So they're favored by natural selection.
Yes.
So that's
It's origin of species by means of natural selection.
Yeah,
or the
that's what
preservation of
That's what
favored races in the
Odo's
struggle
argument.
for life.
Odo's argument is designed to show you that can't be true.
So the origin of new species, aka evolution, speciation, by means of the mechanism of, which is natural selection. And you have favored races, which are the animal species that survive and don't go extinct. Like
that's what it means to be favored
moths
already,
that
though.
Just that they didn't go extinct. They didn't die. Every animal species that's alive today is a favored race. The dodo is not.
Look,
So
I'm saying that the notion of a
if you
favorite.
if you read the title of his book, sorry, I'm almost done. If you read the title of his book and you break it down, it shows how he's describing evolution, the mechanisms of it, and how it describes the animal species that have survived and haven't.
Yeah, I'm
So
telling
he's
you
gonna
that I
title the book and
accept
explain it.
Fodor's. I accept Fodor's criticisms of natural selection to a point where I reject it all. Right. And if in order to,
you said the peppered moth example sounded reasonable, didn't you?
yeah, but I don't see how that's natural selection. I consider that
Because they're being selected for.
Can you send me the link to this paper with the objection in it, please? Because I don't know.
The book.
The paper. This
there's
is
a
a
book.
scientific paper, right?
No, this is a book.
Fodor wrote a book.
Some guy writing a book.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote it.
Mark, let me bring you up to speed. Every biologist knows about Fodor. Fodor, in his book, put up a straw man version of natural selection and started attacking that.
Oh, it's a creation. Okay.
No, he's not a creationist. He's an atheist.
And so what he's doing?
He's a creatheist.
He's literally attacking a straw man. And that's why every biologist on the planet just throws it out as just being complete nonsense.
I don't see what this has to do with the argument. Let's just stick to the argument.
Well, okay,
What do you mean? You keep bringing him up. Seriously, what do you expect?
I'm saying that the objection is the interesting part of what I'm saying. I'm just calling it's just a definite description.
How is an objection to a straw man interesting?
You can't even highlight the straw man, Peter. I don't know why you keep saying that.
We've been there. We've done that on SpeedStream. No need to repeat that.
Well, no need to repeat what you just said in terms of it being a straw man. You can't highlight the straw man position.
Fodor didn't get natural selection right.
Yeah, you're just repeating yourself.
And then made an objection to.
You're repeating yourself.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Danny, if you want to talk about Fodor, I'll say this, that in his book, his claim, and you can disagree with me, maybe this is wrong, but I think his claim was that there was no way to tell whether a trait was selected for or was merely a correlate. But what I said last time was, in reality, biologists have ways of determining which is the case. And my example to show that was the peppered moth.
Yeah,
because
he's not disputing that.
Biologists being able to conduct tests and do studies to confirm it was the moth's color that was the trait that was being selected. The dark color morph. That was what was being selected.
You don't want to misunderstand Fodor. Fodor is not disputing what you just said. What he's disputing is that the way scientists come to know these facts is not via a unified theory like natural selection.
It's not a theory, though.
It's not
okay.
Natural selection is not a theory.
I spent so much time talking about the definitions, because if we can't agree on the definition of theory and the definition of mechanism, we're just talking past each other, Danny.
I agree. I agree with that. Right?
Understand that evolution has multiple different, like, there's not just natural selection, there's artificial selection.
Yeah, he's not disputing those either, right? We're giving.
I don't understand where in natural selection you get to the point where you say, okay, this is where I don't agree with it, because I thought we were describing the peppered moth thing, and you were like, okay, that's reasonable, that's reasonable, that's reasonable. And all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I don't. But natural selection.
Fodor's position. Look, so Fodor's position is not that we can't know the selection for trait rather than the selection of trait. It's that we can't know it via the theory of natural selection or natural selection.
It's not a theory. It's
fine. I mean, call it what you want. The point is that natural selection doesn't explain.
I just gave an example of how.
No. The way we came to know that was, look, isn't it the case that we've come to know the distribution and phenotypes based on the ecology and the pollution and the predators, and the ideas that we've come to be familiar with the circumstance, and then we've developed a picture of what happened, an accurate one at that. Okay,
but it wasn't about the pollution. It was about the trait. It was about the color morph.
Why? What? But the thing is that there's a reason why a particular trait has the property of contributing to reproductive success. And we're going to say that the reason why it has that property is given a certain ecological variable like pollution or predators, right? This is not controversial, what I'm saying right now.
No, it's from mutations.
No. Okay, well, this is something I do know. we want to distinguish mutations and those as mechanisms and variation, and then what explains the distribution of those various phenotypic traits, right? Natural selection is purported to be there in that domain. The idea is that the distribution of traits and that's to say allelic frequencies is explained, but mutation is a separate ballgame. That explains variation in the first place.
Mutation is fundamentally part of natural selection. You can't take it out.
That's just simply not true. It's considered to be distinct from natural selection.
What do you think it's being selected for, though?
With respect to what case?
New and different traits, and the way that those new and different traits develop is because of mutations.
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
Nucleotide sequences. So then you're disagreeing with what I just said, though.
Look, if you look at the definition of natural selection, no, it's true that a necessary condition for there to be natural selection is that you need variation, and the way that we understand why there's variation is because of mutation. So the idea is that. It's simply, I guess, I don't know if I should use an example, but the idea is that variation. Okay. Well, if I have a theory about how human beings, I don't know, breathe, or that's not a good example, but how human beings, eat or sweat or whatever, necessary.
That's getting the definition of theory wrong, like I was saying earlier.
I'm making it up, though. This is not a real theory. I'm just giving you what I'm trying to say via an example.
But even the way you're using the word theory is not a scientific theory, though.
Okay, then I'll just drop the term. I'll drop the term if it's causing confusion. I'll just use different terms.
I'll chime in for Titan Uranus. Mutation is not a part of natural selection either.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying. That's what I'm arguing for. That's what I'm saying, Peter.
Then you're who are you attacking? Because
Atheist Junior thinks it is. You can talk to him about it.
No,
it's not part of the definition, but it's part of the theory of evolution that mutation.
Sure, yes, that's right, but not the part of the natural selection. Mutation is necessary for natural selection, but it is not natural selection. Just like
maybe I misspoke then.
It leads to it can
Peter's right here
to natural selection.
That's right. Right.
Yes, exactly. that's what I was trying to say. So I guess maybe I worded it wrong, but that's what I was trying to say.
The poor example I was going to give is if we're trying to explain someone, why they might want to drink water, a necessary condition for them refraining from drinking water or drinking water is that they're breathing oxygen. Right. It's true. It has to be true, and no matter what happens, right? In the same way that if natural selection occurs, no matter what happens to the distribution of traits, necessarily prior to that, you have to have variation. To have variation, you need mutation.
Yeah, which brings me back to the peppered moth example. It is still a natural selection because of the change in color of the background that several of the lighter moths get picked off and don't get to reproduce. So that is nature selecting for a specific trait, which is by definition natural selection.
And it's the birds eating them that is part of nature that is doing the selecting. It is natural.
I understand. Why are you repeating yourselves about what we disagree? Let's get to the argument.
Because this is fundamental to the whole.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I reject what you're saying, and I have to give arguments for why. Right? That's where we have to go to. Okay, and there are a lot of avenues that I can do. Right? I can go rather. The first avenue is.
It kind of seems like you're just being a contrarian.
Okay, so if we understand the definition of natural selection, okay, this is how I understand the definition of natural selection to be that changes in allelic frequency as a result of differential reproductive success. That's what I take natural selection to be. Okay.
No, that's evolution. That's not natural selection.
Wait, you disagree with creation myths with Dr. Dan because that's the definition he sent to me. Are you going to disagree with a PhD in evolutionary biology?
I don't think that we should.
I'm not, but I think you're misrepresenting what he told you.
I can give you what Dr. Dan gave me specifically. Do y'all want that? I have the. Okay, good. So that I'm not mischaracterizing it. Okay, I have it. You're going to let me share my screen, right?
So my question is, why hasn't Fodor produced a paper on this?
I think he does have a paper, but I've only read parts of it. I just read the book instead, which is the paper. The paper is a summary of the book. But if you can't find it, let me know and I'll try to find it for you. Okay, this is what he sent me.
I'm going AFK for a little bit, guys, but I'm listening. Just saying.
Okay. So this is what Dr. Dan gave me. Natural selections change, just like I said, changes in allelic frequency due to differential reproductive success. Okay. Now I'm saying that this is just a straightforward tautology. Okay, and I'll explain why. The notion of differential reproductive success.
First, explain your definition of tautology, because I don't think Mark is.
Mark, do you take tautologies to be necessarily true, or do you have a different definition of tautology?
No, a tautology is just stating a fact as, a fact to represent itself.
Right, which means it can't be false.
Well, the definition I gave last time was stating the same thing twice, but just using different words the second time you say it.
That's fine, but that means that's a necessary truth.
What do you mean by that? I mean, the statement could
can't be
true
false.
or false. That's independent of whether it's a tautology.
Look, a dog is
or
a
not.
dog. A dog is a dog. And every
Yeah, but I could say that a dragon is a dragon. It's still not
right,
true.
and that's true. No, that's true. Wait, why wouldn't that be true? A dragon? You disagree that a dragon is a dragon?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you could say.
Look, Peter's poisoning. Look, Mark,
hang on. Stop! Don't talk over me. Just stop, okay? But you could say something. A tautology can still be absurd, like a square circle is still a square circle.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that that's not even a proposition, arguably, and if it is, it's still true. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could argue that, but it doesn't say anything about the factual nature of the statement made.
True. Yes, I agree with you there. Peter's poisoning the well. This is what.
No, it's not. It's not. You're using a different.
I'm using the way logicians use tautology, Peter, and you're poisoning the well.
Yes, and what I'm trying to tell you is that not everyone in this room may use that specific definition. So, for clarification,
that's fine. I agree. I'm fine with that.
Yours, so as not to poison the well.
Sure,
but
that's fine. I accept
clarify.
That. I accept that. Okay, I apologize for if you were just trying to clarify. My apologies for my accusation. Now
that was all I did.
Yeah, I apologize if that was your intent. My apologies. Creation myths. This is I don't want to dox him, but he has a PhD in evolutionary biology. All the other definitions of natural selection that I've seen have been something close to this, or exactly the same. Now, I'm saying that this is a tautology. This is a tautology. The reason why is because differential reproductive success over generations already has contained in it the concept of change in allelic frequency. If there were no change in allelic frequency, differential reproductive success is impossible. Okay, over generations. Okay, another way that this could be phrased is in terms of a conditional, something like if there is differential reproductive success over generations, then changes in allelic frequency occur. But the thing is that that's a tautology because the notion of there being changes in allelic frequency is already in the antecedent. So if this is true, if what I'm saying is true, tautologies don't explain anything. You suggested as so, right?
But it's not a tautology. It's a conditional. If something happens, then this is the effect.
Look, do you think if you're a bachelor, then you're unmarried?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's necessarily true, right? That can't be false.
Danny, what's the context in which he posted this?
He was correcting me on what natural selection and what I took it to be. That was the context. Yeah, that stream
that says nothing. What was the actual context? What was the rest of that conversation?
Well, this was in the chat. And do you want me to give you the link to the video?
I'm asking you what was said before and after he posted this.
I don't remember.
Exactly. And that is why I think that he's pointing out something, but there's more to it than just this. Because
okay, so you think this is a deficient definition of natural selection? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think this is
a
message. This is a message of a bigger.
I think this is a tautology
of a bigger conversation.
You're insane.
Just to clarify something.
Look, do you think you could have no changes in allelic frequency and yet have a differential reproductive success over generations, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. What do you take differential reproductive success over generations? Do you think that implies a change in distribution and phenotype?
Well, I think differential reproductive success means that some organisms are better at reproduction and some are worse at reproduction.
Isn't that demonstrated by a change in phenotypic distribution?
But what something is represented by does not mean it's exactly the same thing as the changes
I'm asking
in
a very
allele
simple
frequency.
question.
Hey, let me finish. Let me finish.
You're
Shut
not
up.
answering the question.
Shut up. Now, it doesn't mean it's exactly the same thing, right?
I'm not. You gotta have to repeat what you said. I listened, but it didn't make any sense to me.
No, I don't think you listened. That a difference. Some organisms, reproducing better, and some not reproducing better, is not the same thing as changes in allele frequency.
Wait, then what would better mean?
I can give an example.
Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. If a trait is better, that means it's conducive to differential reproductive success.
Didn't come in. I can give an example where allele frequencies didn't come in.
Of differential reproductive success?
Yes.
Okay. Why would creation myths highlight the notion over generations? Right. The idea is that
right. It's just not a tautology.
Okay. I don't think you understand what differential reproductive success is over generations. That's to say that traits are moving to fixation. That's what that means. And if they're moving to fixation,
one is biological, changes in allele frequency. The other is environmental differentials.
No.
How can it be a tautology?
No,
you don't understand what a tautology is.
Wait, do you reject that it's a necessary truth?
That's what. See, this is where Danny jumps back to his
truth.
Danny thinks that tautology means necessary truth. That is what he
because
means.
Because one thing is causal of another. It's a tautology.
Look, this is essentially saying no.
Danny, what Danny says when he says tautology, he only means this is a necessary truth, and this is why I have a problem with Danny not being able to accept.
Everyone's definition of tautology boils down to necessity.
This is why I have a problem with Danny not being able to accept definitions that are used by every other person.
How do you respond to my? I don't really care about this. How do you respond to my argument that when there's differential reproductive success over generations, that implies a changes in the percentages of the alleles?
And I can give you an example where changes in allele frequency.
So are you just hand waving what I'm saying, Mark?
It's not a tautology. It's
Look,
just
you can't.
not.
I understand you disagree with me, but how do you respond to the argument that if there is, if a trait moves to fixation across generations, that implies necessarily a change in alleles? And
do you know what implies mean?
And I can still give an example of natural selection where changes in allele frequency didn't come in.
Implies meaning nomically, right? That's to say by meaning analytically. There's an analytic entailment here.
So there's sort of differential reproductive success, right? Doesn't automatically entail, as Peter rightly points out, changes in allele frequency.
Wait, what? Then I don't know what you mean by differential reproductive success anymore. You're deviating from other people. Look, how I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but how I understand, if it's the case that there is differential reproductive success over generations, that means that there are traits moving to fixation, yes or no?
Did some humans
answer yes or no?
Better reproductive success.
Answer yes or no.
I mean, I'm answering exactly the way I know how because your question was
guys,
weird.
Hold on. I am hitting. I think I'm gonna hit the limit of my StreamYard hours soon. I don't know. Does somebody want to maybe make a new stream because I'm gonna run out of hours.
I got a thing. I mean, you can start set up a video on YouTube, and
I was trying to do that earlier, but I couldn't fucking figure out how to do it without you, Peter.
Yeah, no problem. I can walk you through that.
Are you going to be good for the rest of the month, Atheist Junior? Like in terms of streaming?
No, if he hits the limit, then that's it.
I'm like,
then he can't.
Okay, well, let me
this
know.
This is like probably the last stream because I'm like,
Let
I have
me
like
know,
an
but-
hour left.
Right. Let me know if you want to stream again. You can use my StreamYard account. Okay. Yeah, I'm just offering. You don't have to take it. But it just I want to make sure that kind of sucks if you can't stream. Or you can create a new account. I don't know what would be easier. But
Well,
I'm just offering you.
Yeah.
And
I
you
was
can have
thinking
up to 10
somebody else
people.
could just make a new one, and like people could hop over there, or Peter can help me like just set up another stream on YouTube, and you can go over to that one.
Yeah, Don and Danny, that's a very generous offer. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
dislike
agree.
anyone here except maybe Peter, but but
Yes.
I know I know that I don't really care that he doesn't like me, but I don't dislike
It's not liking someone. It is getting frustrated with you, having a complete inability to learn, and a complete
know what that
complete inability to show empathy or to show interest in
I don't know what you're talking about right
in
now.
having a better conversation.
I don't really know what you're talking about. Sorry.
You don't.
That's your catchphrase, Danny.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't know what they're talking about because I think I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, and everyone has told you that you're not. So
Yeah, so I don't know what they're
that's
talking
just-
about.
That's just you thinking that you're doing the right
They're
thing.
just telling me I'm doing the wrong thing when I think I'm doing the right thing. So I
Do
don't
you
understand
get
what's going
how
on.
like sort of name calling and sort of being a jerk to people? Do you get how
What do you mean by
sort of
being a jerk?
childish?
Like hurting people's
Well,
feelings?
Well, yeah, you call people names, you do ad
Yeah.
hominems, you
I think that's the
basically
right
say,
thing to
I
do.
see no reason to listen to you.
Yes. Yeah, I think those are good things
You
sometimes.
think being a complete jerk is the right thing to do?
Yeah, I think it's good to hurt people's feelings sometimes. Yes.
I
you're
think
very
that you
good
are
at it.
I
seriously
hurt Nazis'
misguided.
feelings. I hurt Nazis' feelings. I hurt racist feelings, and I hurt idiots' feelings. Sorry.
And you make
that makes you
yourself
an
look
idiot.
like an absolute tool.
I don't know what
Does
that means.
worry you at all?
I don't know what you mean by tool.
I have 50 minutes left.
look
Unless
like
somebody
a
wants to
complete
send me
jerk.
20 bucks,
Like,
upgrade
nobody-
my StreamYard.
I don't know what you mean by
Takes
jerk
you
other than
seriously.
what I just stipulated.
Well, nobody takes you seriously. Nobody gives you respect.
I'm not here to be
Everybody
taken
basically
seriously.
Talks about like you.
I'm not here. I'm here to talk about arguments and debate. I'm not interested in making friends or to be taken seriously or whatever this nonsense is.
Yeah,
I'm interested in the argument.
Danny, do you think I'm an idiot?
I don't really think so. I think you're misled by like.
But you just said that. Well, I don't know. Based on what you just said, you would define me as an idiot.
I think
I'm
Peter's
not
an
a Nazi
idiot.
or a
I think
racist.
Peter is a genuine, bona fide idiot. I don't think you
Do you
are.
think I'm an idiot? You called me that. Do you think I'm an idiot and stupid?
Probably not.
Because you said that you hurt the feelings of Nazis, racists, and idiots, and I told you that you hurt my feelings. And if I'm not the first two categories, then that kind of narrows it down.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that your feelings were hurt. Yeah,
I don't think that you think that.
but I don't take responsibility for it
I think you should grow up.
or
seriously.
blame rather.
Like be mature.
AJ,
professional,
quick
have
question.
integrity.
Do you want
Yeah,
to
it'd be
continue
nice.
this? I have a hangout set up so everyone can move to that one, and I will.
Peter just loves me, doesn't he?
That would be
I will-
easier.
I will only add
Peter.
people.
Peter, I need about 3 or 4 minutes to wash some adhesive off my hands, so I'll come and join you. Send me the link in Twitter if you don't mind.
Yeah, that would be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, so I put it in here. You can hop over. You won't
You're
be
already-
added until I add you. And I need to set up a stream with AJ.
And
I'll
I
switch over.
still wanted to talk to Randolph about my interview with Aaron. So,
How about y'all just talk about that and I can like take a break?
Yeah, we can end this topic on this stream, and then
I need 3 or 4
the
minutes
next
to get this adhesive
Yeah,
off my hands.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, how much time do you have left?
50
How much
minutes.
time?
Sure.
5-0.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna bow out as well. I should get back to study, but it was
Okay.
fun.
This was an interesting yet contentious, but still
Yeah,
very
very.
interesting conversation.
very
it got me a lot of.
contentious. I'm
it got
glad
me a
you
lot of
contributed
viewers.
so much, Randolph. You are the main MVP of the stream. All right, guys.
I mean-
it was so good to talk to you all. Sorry, AJ.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I'm at 22 viewers right now, which is the highest that I've ever had on a stream. So
So make sure your viewers know where the next YouTube video is so that they can tune in there. And I'll be in there in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, put a link up. AJ.
I wanted to talk to you, Randolph.
Do you want to do that, Peter? Do you want to throw a link up?
Oh, did you find that paper, Mark?
I'm going to
did you
go
find
right
that
now.
paper?
I'll be back in 5 minutes at the new place.
No, I didn't. I got sort of.
Let me link it to you, okay? That way.
please do.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, we have James W in the chat. Okay.
James.
So, what are we going to do?
I'm going to end this one, and then I put the link to the new. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have put it in the public chat.
Now,
but
Mark, I haven't read all of this. I only read parts of it.
Danny, can you shut up for a minute? I'm talking to AJ.
Well,
no, I won't.
If you want to join on the other one, and
yeah, I'm just telling Mark that I have the paper posted there. I haven't read the paper.
Okay, AJ, you're running out of time.
I'm going to end this broadcast, and we're going to go to
Danny before you run out of time completely.
See you guys.
I'm just going to end this broadcast, and we're going to go over to the other one.
I will link it. I got it. Cheers. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
See you guys.